Hello again folks, and welcome to Black Bear Outdoors. Now today we're going to show you how to field strip and clean your GSG-16 little MP5 clone in 22 long rifle. And this is just for after a range day. It's by no means a white glove clean, even though I'm wearing my white gloves so we don't get prints everywhere. Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty simple cleaning video, and let's get straight to it. So what you're going to need is, firstly, like we use on all our firearms, we got our break-free CLP here. I bought this years ago and this thing just doesn't let up. It's I've never managed to kind of empty one of these. Alright, next up we're gonna use our trusty 22 caliber bore snake. This will be the same one that you'll use for an AR, for example. Interesting one for this particular firearm is that you're going to need a couple of screwdrivers, flatheads, right? And one is to kind of hold the screw on the one side, and the other one is to twist it out, right? We're also going to be using our little polymer brush here. This particular one came from an AR cleaning kit, but you can get these on Amazon, super cheap. It's polymer, so it's not going to damage anything. And another interesting one for this thing, you're going to need an Allen key or a little hex set like this. And of course our trusty cloth. What I've also done is I have cut some little patches here. That's actually for a 9mm, but I've cut it in half. So let's get to it. So first thing you want to do is you want to remove the stock, right? And this is where you're going to need some screwdrivers. Now this is for the standard GSG-16. However, I have been told that the HK takedown pins that you can buy for an MP5 at HK Parts and places like that actually does fit on this, so you can remove those screws and just use the pins, which I'm probably going to do because that's going to be a lot easier, right? So hopefully you can see what I'm doing on camera here. Alright, so I'm going to hold the screw. I'm just going to use this little screw tip, and then I'm going to screw it out with this. So once you've got that little part out, you might want to push the screw on this end and it'll come out. I just normally put these together just so I don't lose them. Alright, so once you've done that, you can pull off the stock like that. And then we're going to do the same with this screw right in front of the trigger guard here. So once that's removed, again, I'm just putting these two together just so I don't lose anything. But yeah, I think the HK takedown pins will make a very big difference in ease. Alright, so next little tricky part. I hope you can see this. There is inside the back there is a tiny little bolt stop that you're going to need to remove with an Allen key or a hex key. Putting that back can sometimes be tricky, but let's get to it. There you go, you'll see that little bolt come out. Now you just pull the stop out and remove it, and there you go. Pay attention to which side it goes back in, and yeah. Now you can just slide off the lower receiver and you've got access to the hammer and so forth, right? You'll see your bolt is back in there, so we're gonna push that out with our charging handle and remove the bolt. So now you have a field stripped GSG-16. Alright folks, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab our cleaning rod here, and we are going to put one of these little patches around it. Normally you can use one of those with a little loop in it and just thread it through. I don't have one available to me right now, so I'm just going to use this to attach our little patch. There we go. So on this little patch I am going to put a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit of CLP, right? We're gonna go from the rear of the upper receiver right into the barrel, and we're gonna push it through a couple of times. And the reason why we're doing this is so that the CLP is going to be inside the barrel, breaking down some of the carbon that's built up in there, right? And we'll put this aside for a little while, give it a few minutes to do its job, and in the meantime we're going to go to work on the bolt. Alright, so the way I do it is I give it a good squirt of CLP, and then attack it with the brush. Give it a good scrub down. Make sure we try and remove as much of the carbon and whatever is built up on there as we possibly can. Just give it a good old scrub. You got to remember that the nice thing about the CLP is it breaks down carbon, it cleans it, it lubes it, and it protects it, right? That's what the CLP stands for. Alright, so we're going to leave that for a few minutes as well, just so the CLP can do its job. And we're going to do the same thing with our receiver here, our lower receiver. Going to give it a little squirt of CLP and get it going with a brush. Give it a good old scrub down there. Alright, again, we're going to leave it for a few minutes, and then when we come back, we'll continue on with our cleaning. So folks, now that we've given it a couple of minutes to do its thing, I'm going to take my little cloth here, and I'm going to wipe down all the CLP that was on there, and you can see already how clean that is, and wipe off all the excess carbon and so forth. The CLP that's left is going to lube it and protect it, so you're good as gold there. The US military has been using CLP for decades, so don't think you can go far too wrong with that. And we're going to do the same on the bolt here. We're going to give it a good wipe down with our cloth, or the bolt carrier group, I should say. Yeah, that's running nicely. Now our next step is going to be, we're going to be using our bore snake. Now remember, we left the upper receiver to one side for a little bit so that the CLP can do its job and break down the carbon in the barrel. So what the bore snake's going to do, it's going to remove all that for us and give it a good scrub down. Bore snakes are pretty cool. I like them. They make life quite a lot easier for me. You'll notice that they have little bristles on there as well, so it gives it a good cleaning. Probably won't be able to show you on camera, but you'll see the barrel looks nice and new once you've pushed this through. It's also got a little weight on the end, so it makes it a lot easier to get it into the barrel, right? Saying that, I'm trying to do that on camera. Alright, so you just slide it down the barrel, feed it through until you get the weight on the other side. It'll come out here, and just give it a tug through a couple of times, and that'll take out all that excess carbon and leave you with a clean, polished looking barrel to take to the range next time. So that is pretty much as simple as it gets, guys. So yeah, let's get her put back together again, and we'll do a function check. So first we're going to slide in our bolt. We're going to leave it at the back there so we can fit the lower receiver onto it properly. Okay. Now I normally just put in the first bolt just to make sure that it doesn't move around on us. Alright, and now this is the tricky part. So now you got to get that little bolt stop back in there. Now it's going to be incredibly hard to do that on camera, but I'm going to try. So I tend to use an Allen key or something to guide it through to try and keep it upright and in the right position. And that's kind of tricky, especially on camera. But once you do this a couple of times, you'll probably get the hang of it. There we go, so that's seated back in there. Hopefully you can see that. I doubt if you can. But yeah, now we got to put our little bolt back in there that we are going to be tightening up with our little hex key here. As far as field stripping and cleaning goes, it's a pretty involved process, I know. That's why I think those little takedown pins are going to help quite a bit. And the last thing we got to do is we got to replace the stock. Put that back in there. You'll notice it's got two little rails, very easy. Just tap it in so the holes line up. And now we're just going to put our last little bolt in there. And there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a bit of a wipe down with our cloth here. So there you go, folks. That's a clean and lubed GSG-16 ready for your next range day. So guys, if you enjoyed our video, if you learned something new, please leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe on the next screen. You're going to see it's going to look like a Black Bear badge. And if you'd like to support us in getting some new gear and things for you to review, you can also check out the link to our Patreon page on that same screen. You guys stay safe, and we'll see you next time.